2 Kings chapter 17 and verse 15. And they rejected his statutes, his covenants that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies, which he testified against them. They followed vanity and became vain and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai had charged them that they should not do like them. Giving all praises, infinite honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rahakwadash. Double honors indeed are to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, all right, who teach and rule well, who taught us this truth. Many salutations to you sincere Akim that are serving Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, giving diligence to make your calling and election short. This is your brother Malakia, all right, teaching out of the North Hollywood camp, all right, teaching this truth in all sincerity. I was going into, the book of 2 Kings, reading about how our people, love to be anything but Israel, and you see that today, that common factor with our people today, because when we tell our brethren or our sisters that they're Israelites, a lot of the times they roll their eyes, smirk their lips, and just shake their heads, at us being anything but, all right, the princes of the power, all right. They, the scriptures warn us that they hate him that rebuketh at the gate. So we just look like niggas with a book a lot of the times to these people, and they reject being the gods of the earth. They want to be everything except, all right, sons and daughters, all right, of the living power Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right, and this is why you see our people being judged the most, always in the hospital, always limping, always ain't got shit right, always dealing with different curses that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai places upon our nation. It says, and they left all the commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai their Lord, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worship all the host of heaven, and serve Baal. Our people dibble and dabble in a lot of things. I've met people that said, there's good in every book. There's nothing wrong with serving everything. And this is true. As the scripture says, worship all the host of heaven. Worship the so-called black woman, worship the universe, all these things that the Lord told us not to do, they do. Now, there's a celebrity by the name of SZA. She's a artist, R&B artist. And this is kind of what made me go over to this. As you see, she's in deep. She's dealing with these heathen gods and the culture of these heathen. And she's not even welcomed. She was to go over there not being a celebrity with no status, they would reject her. In fact, these heathen, hate our guts. All right. She's a beautiful woman. She's got some plastic surgery, made some money. And now she's dibbling dabbling, and that's what the Negro woman does. She travels throughout the 4 winds of the earth, sticking her nose in every wind of doctrine, and this is why you see these women getting destroyed. All right. Because there's more of them than it is us. And the Lord is not dealing with, these different gods. Now, what stands out is she's dealing with the calf. Now, as it says, even two calves. We'll just get that. We'll look that up. All right. It says a young bovine animal, especially a domestic cow or bull in its first year. All right. And it's images a lot of the times. And you actually have them worshiping these different deities when they dibble off into these different doctrines and they're so peaceful and but they're giving, reverence to a different God. All right. Eating their foods, trying to be like them. You're not a heathen woman. You are a so-called Negro woman. You would be more than likely of the tribe of Judah or the Southern Kingdom. Okay. And you see she's getting deep off into this stuff, man. And this is why, as big as these celebrities get, they have a hard fall. Once they get chewed up, they get spit out. Once Esau, Edom doesn't need them anymore, and they become bugged out. A lot of them end up getting graped, getting, like I said, chewed up and spit out. And they're just through a lot of the times. And you see that, when you look at the story of Whitney Houston, Bobby Brown, Michael Jackson, and so on. Okay. And this is, against the scriptures, following after the ways of the heathen. When you read Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, the basics, it tells us not to follow after the heathen ways. And a lot of you celebrities are just not going to make it. You're comfortable here in America and really across the four winds of the earth, And Yahweh Shem Shai is the Lord of hosts. He's the only one to be reverenced and worshipped. Yahweh and his only begotten son. All right. You're not supposed to be doing all of this yoga, and if you meditate, you should be meditating upon Yahweh Shem Shai and his word. This Hinduism BS is not going to lead you to salvation. The woman worship, all right, the calf worship is going to lead to your destruction, in fact. All right. And so with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rahakwadash.